And welcome to another edition of the Big Knick Energy Podcast. Check out our sponsor, Empire Original Designs, at jointheempire.com. The East Coast's #1 challenge coin manufacturer, the home of challenge coins, lapels, pins, patches, keychains, bottle openers, and more. Mention our podcast, Big Knick Energy, via email for 5% off purchases. Once again, that's at jointheempire.com. I'm your host, the sore throat, raspy Joe Yolk, the bald kid wonder. That's my co-host, the New York Postman, a.k.a. Tre Deuce, a.k.a. delivers every day and twice on Sunday. The coach Postman, back from vacay. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. And just so you know why I'm dressed like this.
Vacation mode
activated.
It's about to be deactivated tomorrow. You not excited to go back to work or something?
I am very excited to go back to work. I just can't wait. I'm super hyped to trek another 11 miles and work another 10 hours straight for 7 days. Can't wait to do it.
Who doesn't love doing that shit? I mean, if nothing else, at least you get to walk a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else.
I mean, who doesn't love working out? Your legs.
Only my calves are, I have the most impeccable calves. I will go calf for calf with anybody in the game in a podcast. I don't care.
I honestly feel like, dude, you probably have stronger calves than the grizzly bear at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what happens when you're constantly just stepping all day long. It's the best.
Oh my God. You're like, what's the step movie that they do the dances in?
Yeah, it's Step Up.
Yeah, it's Step Up. You're Step Up 5 out here, the Tre Deuce model.
That's right.
Frank, so I know you said you wanted to get into this USA Nigeria game. Let's just real quick cover.
Yeah, you want to get into that real quick?
I want to cover Giannis being an absolute demolisher of souls first.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The finals matter, I feel like, a little bit more. We will get to USA, trust me.
Okay, thank God.
No, we're not letting KD.
We're not gonna let that slip.
Sure.
All right,
no
cool.
shot.
Okay, cool.
Real quick. So last night we had the Bucks win their first game at home in the finals in 47 years, 120-100 over Phoenix. Much like Phoenix did in the first two games, they went on runs in the second and third quarter, but the Bucks did it this time. I think I know I mentioned it last week and we didn't, because of technical difficulties and your brother being a dickhead, we didn't post the podcast. Okay. So one thing we did mention was that we thought the home team in this series, it's going to be the first time in a while that home teams like home court really matters. I think that's what happened here, buddy.
So Twitter was going crazy about Scott Foster reffing this game. So a little stat about Scott Foster is Chris Paul's team have lost the last 11 games that Foster has officiated. And
you want to know another little stat about Scott Foster?
Yeah.
He may or may not have fucked Chris Paul's mom. No one knows, though.
Oh, that's a deep dive. I mean, DeAndre Ayton, being in foul trouble, having Kaminsky out there looking like a deer in headlights.
Looking like Kaminsky.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what I took away from the game. Another thing, obviously, I was thinking about when I was smoking the clickbait drug that was, who would I rather have in the Lost podcast that'll never be seen? Who would I rather take, Giannis or Trae Young for the long haul? And me saying Trae Young was obviously me smoking something. This guy Giannis is like,
you could have just never admitted to that happening, dude. I forgot you said that.
Oh, well, you know what? The reason I said that
because I thought you were crazy.
Well, no, I pulled out some stats on Chris Paul and Trae Young's first 3 seasons, but maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. Maybe I'm not smoking drugs, but Giannis's ability to attack and just take over within the restricted area is something that we haven't seen since like Shaq in Orlando, right? Yeah. You always say like this dude is basically a skinny Shaq. And I can see this guy like getting older and just becoming a center and then just being Shaq, like it's really ridiculous. There's times where he's cutting to the rim and you're like, oh, he's just going to like use his long arms and finger roll it in. Just kidding. Time to dunk on everybody.
Yeah. Dude, he takes two steps from the 3-point line in dunks.
Yeah, he's literally something we haven't seen since, I don't know, like if ever. I don't even know if like Shaq, you can compare him to Shaq just because his ability to manipulate going towards the
I
rim.
think Giannis is somehow like a crazy lab child of Shaq and Joel Embiid. I know Joel Embiid's younger, but like Joel Embiid has the Euro step. He has a little bit lankier like look and stuff, and he can also do the 2 steps to the finish at the rim thing. But the overall power and dominance is straight Shaquille O'Neal.
To me, I think like if you're gonna take 2 players and combine them and splice them together, not shooting ability.
Joel's a better shooter.
No. What I'm saying is, if I were to put 2 people together, and who would it be? I would say it's like Kevin Durant and Shaq, just without the shooting.
Yeah.
Just because like Durant's ability to maneuver himself to the rim, like a younger KD.
Yeah.
And then just Shaq's ability to just like throw the body at someone, clear them completely out, and just dunk on everybody.
Just so everyone knows,
Giannis is
he's
special.
a monster. His overall stat line to finish the game was 41 points. 13 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, only 1 turnover, 14 for 23 from the field, 13 for 17 from the line.
Yeah.
Didn't make a single shot outside of 5 feet. He's the first player in 25 years or 30 years, I forgot the number, to score over 40 points in a game and not make a single shot outside of the restricted area.
I mean, when you have that kind of dominance, there's no reason to. Oh, just for everybody to know, I know his name is Giannis, but I'm going to continue to call him Giannis because I like how it sounds better. Just so everyone knows.
Frank is a phonetic god of some sense.
I get it from my father. My father is notorious for mispronunciation and
yo, can I tell you? I want to put our friends on blast real quick, see if they actually even listen to the podcast or not. Can I just tell you a story about Jimmy and Vinny about with your dad? Yeah, entirely unrelated to basketball. I'm sorry to anyone that wants to hear the Knicks and Giannis still, but 10 seconds.
Trust me, this is probably better.
Oh my God. Anyway, so one time, like your family had a party or your brother had a party at the house, and Jimmy and Vinny both ended up like passing out drunk. They slept in the same bed, and Jimmy is like notorious for, if someone is in the same bed as him, he like sleep cuddles everyone. Guy, girl, cat, dog, it doesn't matter. He's asleep. If you're within his leg shot, he's wrapping you up and pulling you in. So naturally, Vinny, passing out drunk, sleeping next to him, ended up being cuddled by Jimmy big spooning. And your dad walked in on them at like 7 a.m, and he just goes, "Oh shit, hey, use two's gaze." It's our little secret, and then shuts the door.
That's my pops.
I'll never forget that story.
Use
now
guys,
it's on the internet.
Use
two's gaze. Oh my God, I love your dad. Your dad's one of my favorite.
He's the goat.
People.
My dad's the goat.
Dude, real quick about the Scott Foster, Chris Paul thing. I don't actually think Scott Foster hates Chris Paul. I know that's like a thing that Twitter thinks, and I mean, stats might back it up at this point, but DeAndre ain't getting into foul trouble. Can't anyone covering Giannis, in essence, like get into foul trouble immediately? This dude actually does get fouled by being stronger than everyone else and having crazy Euro step, like side to side hip maneuverability potential. He gets hit on the arm a lot. Like, I don't think it's that crazy that DeAndre Ayton got 5,000 20-something minutes.
No, so that's not what's surprising. It's just surprising it came in game 3, and while they're at home, and with this guy Scott Foster being at the reffing crew.
Yeah,
that's like the only thing, because like Giannis obviously has been doing this every game. What, like, the way he approaches a game is, this isn't the first time that he utilized this tactic in a game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to see it happen with all these dominoes aligned, it's kind of like eyebrow raising a little bit for me personally. And I mean, that was the reason, to me, they lost this game, because I mean, other than him going off for 41, Drew Holiday had a game. I mean, their stats were pretty similar to like game 3 and game 1. It's not like there was anyone that was.
I think one of the biggest differences between game 2 and game 3, I honestly think game 1 usually will go to the home team. If the home team has more rest, which Phoenix had both.
Yep.
I feel like they had the best chance of winning. So
it's a good chance.
Compare game 2 and 3 more. Holiday and Middleton shot like fucking 20% the second game. This game, Middleton went 6 of 14. Still not great, but Holiday went 8 of 14.
Yeah,
so they went to combined
really
4.
Good.
They shot 50% combined versus 20% combined. I think that's the biggest game changer versus the foul trouble.
Yeah, Well, yeah, I mean, Drew Holiday was plus 22. I mean, he had a really good game. This guy is going to be
21, 9, and 5.
Yeah, I was saying he's plus 22 is plus minus.
Yeah.
This team has this guy Giannis is going to go off, right? And it's just like, please, anybody, for the love of God, do something. If anybody does
And
anything,
anyone has to be Middleton and Holiday.
yeah, and Middleton is gonna he's been pretty consistent. I mean, everyone likes to say that he's wishy-washy at points, but I mean, he's been pretty consistent.
He has a bad game 25% of the time. I think it's like once out of every 4 times he bombs it.
But Holiday's really got to come up big, and he did, but I also think Ayton not playing kind of changes the entire outlook of the game. Devin Booker went 3 for 14 from the floor.
So glad you just brought up Booker. I was literally about to segue to him.
I mean, listen, the guy didn't have as good as a game as he
didn't play the whole fourth quarter. He just left him out. I literally thought he was hurt at some point.
I think the purge is happening by me right now. I don't know if you can hear that.
Nah.
Good, because it's very loud. I'm happy you don't. I live right by the fire department, so whenever that goes off, I just think of the purge.
As long as your place is on fire, I think we're
I think I'm pretty good. I think hopefully keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. But yeah, Booker went 3 for 14, 1 for 7 from 3. Missed 2 free throws, which is uncharacteristic.
Yep.
10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, no stocks, minus 13, and didn't play the fourth quarter really.
Yep. I mean, neither did Ayton because he was in foul trouble for the majority of it too. It just changed the entire dynamic. I think when you have this guy where, I mean, Booker did a really good job of manipulating the offense and utilizing DeAndre Ayton the same way that Trae Young was using Clint Capella.
Yeah.
Chris Paul has the ability to do the same thing at a very high level, but also shoot very, very high percentage from the mid-range game.
Yep.
I think that when you lose a guy like that and then you plug in a Frank Kaminsky who just doesn't
significantly worse. I mean, dude, the Sarge injury is so big for them.
Yeah, for sure. But absolutely, Sarge being out is crippling them.
It makes them play fucking Frank Kaminsky.
I mean, but the guy just does nothing, right? And it's not to say that he's the worst player in the world, but it's just you have to get in a groove in order to be somewhat effective, and to plug this guy in the finals.
Yeah, is when he's played 5 playoff games the whole time.
Yeah, just not a good look. I mean, it's really not a good look. They can't get that could be the winning factor for the Bucks if they can start getting this guy Ayton in foul trouble. That's got to be the plan. You get Giannis to go at Ayton, you got to get him in foul trouble, and then everything seems to fall apart.
Yep. Just so everyone does know, because we did make picks last week. I said that the Suns were going to win in 6, and I said that they were going to win game 1 and 2, lose 3 and 4, and then win 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
So far I'm 3 for 3 out of those picks.
You look
nailing
good
it so far. I'm pretty sure Frank said Suns in 6 or 7 as well. I don't think you picked the exact game by game, but I think we both basically.
I could see this going 7, man.
I could too, for sure.
I could. This is a really good series, and I like to see watching Giannis shoulder it.
It's fun. It's fun to watch a player be the most dominant on the grandest.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2 games in a row. He scored 40. He's halfway to Jordan's record with 4 games, obviously. And that record was set against the Suns.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to see,
Charles
happen. I also saw a stat in the last 25 NBA Finals. 4 players have done this: 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists through 3 quarters. And those 4 players are Jordan in 97, LeBron James in 2016, Kevin Durant in 2018, and then Giannis did that in game 3. So that's pretty elite company. I mean, this guy is special, and I, like I said, I kind of want to bring that back to me talking about Trae Young. Who would I take, Trae Young or so? I wanted to ask you a question. So in that Lost podcast, we were talking about the talent drop off from in the point guard position and then the power forward position that Giannis is at, right?
Yep.
My question for you is, if you were to, obviously Giannis is in a league of his own right now at that position. Chris Paul and then Trae Young. Where do you like? What's the drop off between those two guys, in your opinion?
Trae Young's mid-range game, while his floater is extremely impressive because of how much Chris Paul can dominate the game from the mid-range.
Yep.
I like if I'm saying
and defensively, obviously as well.
And defense, oh yeah, Trae Young they hide, and Chris Paul can actually is
up.
Yeah, exactly. If Chris Paul's like an A, maybe A minus at this point in his career, like he was better 3-4 years ago than he is now, but it's just he's so savvy. Like if Chris Paul's like an A minus currently, I would say Trae Young is like a B plus, almost A minus, like there. Just like the defensive deficiencies and not quite dominating the mid range yet. Is what the difference is.
I'm happy you said yet. So I'm looking at their stats. I'm not going to like go deep diving into them. I'm just going to give the obvious things that I can just go over and then give you a hypothetical.
Right.
So obviously Trae Young's taking more 3-pointers.
Yes.
Right. Obviously
it's also from when he got drafted. Like when CP3 got drafted, 3-pointers weren't where they're at now.
Okay. If you were to, for one, Chris Paul is 6 foot, weighs $175. Trae Young is 6'1", weighs about $180. So they're about the same size. You obviously Trae Young's a little bigger. Throughout Chris Paul's career, becoming a veteran, you become more savvy. You're going to learn the game. Your stats are going to, dictate that.
Yeah.
If you were to take Trae Young and you were to say, hey, stop shooting the 3-ball like you're shooting now, focus more on the mid-range game. Do you think potentially Trae Young could be a futuristic Chris Paul-esque type player? Obviously, he needs to pick up on defense. Obviously, he needs to shoot a better mid-range. But I think assist-wise, his first 3 years, I mean, this year he had 9.4 a game. Chris Paul in year 3 had 11.6. I think that might have been the highest he's ever had in his career. But the year before that, 8.9 for Chris Paul in his first year, rookie season, 7.8.
What year, if you're looking at the thing, when did Chris Paul go from the Hornets to the Clippers? How many years into
I'd have to pull that up real quick. I just kind of I clipped his first 3 years. Just because I wanted to just
compare side by side.
Yeah, just because I wanted to see the beginning of their career. I'll pull it up in 2 seconds.
I got it. I already got it up. He went from
it was 2011, 2011 season.
Oh, he was like 7. He was 7 years in already. Never mind.
Yeah,
it wasn't for a while.
So, I just think that like potentially for me to say that, taking Trae Young over Giannis isn't that outlandish, because I think potentially, that this guy Trae Young can be an elite point guard.
Well, dude,
10 years into his, he's already relatively elite, and I think 10 years in, he's going to be that separation of that skill gap between Chris Paul and a Drew Holiday.
Well, I mean, so I'll disagree with you really quick. Just try to make this point.
Okay.
We're comparing Trae Young the most to Chris Paul, right?
Sure.
And we compare Giannis the most to Shaq, right?
Right. No.
One of those dudes has 4 titles, and the other one has almost 1.
Right. No, for sure.
And one dude is one of the most dominant at his position. And Chris Paul, for all of his glory, top 5, top 10 point guard of all time now.
No,
but never won a title while being the leader. And just the way basketball works, if you're one of the best, biggest dudes on the court, it is better and a little easier for you to win than if you're just one of the best, smallest dudes on the court.
Giannis is definitely a generational player.
Yeah.
I agree. Chris Paul is not a generational player.
Everything is also it's so based in trade value and free agency and context. It's at this point, people the Luka Doncic versus Trae Young thing is way closer than it was now, because it's Trae Young plus Cam Reddish plus whatever other pick they got. I think it was a joke.
Do you think point guards have the ability to be generational players?
I think point guards, much like, I know I said this before, the quarterback versus running back thing. A great point guard is compared to a great quarterback in the sense that they see the court. They're the ones running the play. But a great point guard is more like a great running back in that they're a dime a dozen.
So you don't think that a point guard can be a generational?
Steph Curry
talent.
is generational. But Steph Curry is
I agree.
generational in the sense that he does it through the non-point guard shit. He's generational by being the greatest shooter of all time.
Okay. So you're saying that in order to be generational, you need to be more than just a passer.
I don't think of it generational based on the position. I think of it based on like what skill set you bring. So Steph Curry is generational because of being potentially, not even potentially, I'm going to say
He's
the greatest shooter of all time in the NBA.
Yes. Yep.
The greatest shooter. Michael Jordan was like the greatest competitor and one of the best on-ball defenders we've ever had, which is how he became the best of all time. Won 6 rings, 3 back-to-back. Like that's generational from a skill set
in the finals. Yep.
That's generational from a skill set. Kobe Bryant, that 18 to 20 footer, he was the best at shooting that shot and one of the most clutch we'll ever see. Generational in that skill set. Shaq was dominant, literally could bully up any single player. Generational in that skill set.
Right.
Had nothing to do with playing center.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Nothing to do with playing center, point guard, shooting guard, whatever.
So you need that. You need to have that. You need to have that marquee attribute.
Yes.
That sets you apart from everybody else at that position.
Trae Young's best chance to be generational would actually to shoot the percentage Steph Curry does, not to pass like Chris Paul.
So do you think it's too late for point guards to be generational without like the uncanny shooting ability? Like how Magic was known for making these passes, or like even like what was his name? Nick Van Exel that played when he played for the Lakers?
Yeah.
He was
Jason Williams, also White Chocolate, was also phenomenal at passing, but not a generational player.
Okay. I see what you're saying. So you don't think like the pure point guard skill set is the archetype for a generational player?
The Lost podcast, who did I say was the second best point guard in my eyes, ahead of Steph Curry, behind Magic?
Oh, did you say Steve Nash?
No, Stockton.
Oh, John Stockton. Right.
John Stockton, who literally has all of the records as a point guard.
Right.
The assists, steals, no chips.
Right. Would you consider him a generational talent?
No.
Okay, so you just don't think the point. So that brings me back to what I was saying. You don't think the point guard position harbors the type of game style that would give
the
you
best passer of all time. The best passer of all time statistically never won a title.
Okay, so you don't. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, I kind of agree that it's very hard to be at the point guard position and be considered a generational talent unless you're shooting from half court,
right?
And you know, you have a bunch of chips in your pocket. So no, I'm with it.
Giannis dominates the game. Trae Young does not. You know what I mean? Trae Young dominates the game from like the ball, like usage rate, like actually dominates the game in that way, but not like.
I think future Trae can dominate a game with spacing and with like, you know, manipulation in the future. I think he's
much like CP3 does now.
Right, but that's where I was going with that entire conversation. That, you know, like maybe down the line, it wouldn't be crazy to say that Trae Young is somebody you take over Giannis just because the floor at his position, it's so important. Like when you look at the Knicks, you know, what was the thing we were always saying? The Knicks need a point guard. The Knicks need a point guard. We need a point guard. So like, you know, at what point is it like the point guard needs to be that top priority?
I mean, I've said it before too. It's like there are a dime a dozen to find a decent point guard, but if you don't have one, your team sucks.
Right, and that's what brings you back to the quarterback analogy.
Yeah, right.
I like it. I'm with it.
One thing I wanted to say, because I know we're about to go a little off on USA.
Okay.
But just to show how much home court really matters, Game 2 of the finals. I'm gonna throw one stat. Okay. Game 2 of the finals, the Suns shot from 3 50%, 20 of 40. The Bucks shot 29%, 9 of 31.
They were
in Game 3 of the finals, the Bucks' first home game. They shot. They flipped. The Suns shot 9 of 31, and the Bucks shot 14 of 36.
Yep.
Literally home court. For anyone that said home court didn't matter because of COVID or whatever, home court fucking matters.
Of course it does. That the first time I don't know if it was the first time we played the Bucks. The Knicks played the Bucks, but the Knicks won, and everyone was like, "Oh, the Knicks, man, beating."
Oh, we won 175. It was like the 7th game of the year. Some shit.
Right. And what did the Bucks shoot from 3-point line that game? Do you
It was
remember? It was
fucking like
abysmal.
17% or something.
It was abysmal. And I remember them, a bunch of people I was talking to was going, "Oh man, the Knicks, they beat the Bucks." I said, "I promise you that the Knicks did not beat the Bucks. The Bucks beat themselves that game."
Yeah. I bet you if we looked at those stats, I'm not gonna look them up. I don't fucking care. But I bet you looked at those stats, fucking Giannis shot like 7 threes that game for some reason.
Yeah. No, they looked. That's another thing, man. Like if this guy, I'm sorry, I'm just doing a little dry erase board work. If this guy,
did you write down Trae Young over Giannis? Now you're
no. A lot of this game too, I saw like them just like stepping back from Giannis. If this guy can just like not be so awkward with his jumpers, he will be the greatest player to ever play. If this guy can like learn to shoot, we will not see anybody like him ever.
Dude, I tweeted this the other day. I want you to, before we get into this, actually reminds me, where do you think Shaq would have ranked all time greatest players if he shot even 75% from the line? He shot like 53 on his career.
I'm a big
I think he might be top 5. I think he would have got more titles.
I'm a big proponent to if you're an NBA player, you better be able to shoot free throws. Especially if that's like your career and that's what you do for a living. I never understood why people just can't shoot free throws. I think Shaq would probably be like top 3 of all time if he could make free throws. Cause like once you have a strategy, a coaching strategy called Hack a Shaq, and like that's something that's carried out through after Shaq retires.
Hack a Simmons.
Right. It just goes to show that like how many more points would this guy have had? If he just was able to shoot free throws, how less would he have been fouled? And then how many more, where does that open up the rest of the game?
Would he have actually already won a chip with Hardaway and the Magic instead of having to go to LA?
That is my biggest what if in NBA history. I think that if Hardaway never got hurt, he probably would have never went to LA. I mean, I think eventually he would have, kind of like how LeBron found his way to LA, because Shaq's the only
Kawhi,
Shaq's the only player in NBA history. He went platinum with his rap album. He's the only rapper to go platinum that played for the NBA, and amongst a whole plethora of other basketball players to rap.
Yeah.
Shaq did movies, so I think eventually Shaq's journey would have taken him to LA. But I think that if Nick the Brick didn't mess up everything in Orlando, and then Penny didn't get hurt, I don't think Shaq would have been there as soon as he did. But I mean, everything is everything, right?
Your brother is calling me currently.
All right, well, he's got to wait. Sorry, big boy.
Shot.
So yeah, I mean, do I think that maybe if Penny didn't get hurt, that his journey would have taken a little bit longer to get to LA? Absolutely. But I still think he would have found his way there. Just like how LeBron's plan was always to get to LA.
LeBron did win a title for Cleveland. I mean, he went to Miami first, but he also won a title in Cleveland before making the trip.
And listen, you want to know how I know LeBron is like on his way out? I think they asked him, is he going to play for, after the season was over, they said, "LeBron, are you planning on playing for Team USA?" And he goes, "No, I think," he's like, "this summer, I think I'm going to be playing for the team Space Jam or something with the Team Toon Squad," he said.
Yeah.
And like when he said that, I was like, man, this guy is.
Well, dude, you already won multiple USA. I mean, it's like the Olympics are cool and all, but like it's not the best of the best. Like LeBron's legacy is based solely on getting titles at this point. He needs to spare his body.
Let's transition because it's a beautiful one.
Team USA.
I'm gonna ask you a couple questions before we get into the embarrassment, which is Team USA.
You know what's funny is that this website you sent me doesn't even have the Nigerian national team logo. It just has the NBA logo for Nigeria.
Yeah, it's good job, Pop. So my question before we get into just us losing, has Team USA lost its luster?
I think Team USA lost having an actual point
guard. I mean, like I just think about, you look at the dream.
And yes,
team.
that is a shot at Dame Lillard for anyone listening to this podcast.
Yeah. Do you think that like the NBA superstar has lost its luster? I mean, I was looking at the roster. Like you look at like Team USA, the Dream Team, and like Chris Mullins was like the end of that bench, and who's the kid that was good in I can't remember his name right now.
Oh, he played for Duke.
Yeah. I mean, obviously
Fuck.
he's
Is
an
it Bill Lambier? No, it wasn't Bill Lambier.
no.
I can't remember. I don't know.
I can't remember it either for some reason right now. It'll come back to me. Like you look at that team, and then you look at the team with like Kobe, D Wade, LeBron.
Yeah.
Like
Melo.
yeah, I mean, like those were teams where you can get behind, but like I don't know, man. You got like Zach LaVine and Jeremy Grant
Kevin Love doesn't
and Kevin
give
Love
you
and like
excitement.
Darius Garland and Sadiq Bey.
Hold on, time out. So I'm glad you said Darius Garland. I wish if Darius Garland was running point for this team instead of fucking Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard, because Darius Garland's actually a point guard and actually prides himself on getting dudes in the right position.
Yep.
I don't think they would have lost this. They would have won this game by 20. I'm saying it right now.
I mean, Kevin Durant's first 3-pointer came in the fourth with 1:33 left to go.
Yeah. Dude, they don't take. I think the real issue with Team USA is that they don't take their opposition seriously ever. And they all just try to play one-on-one. They're like, I'm better than the dude in front of me, and I'm going to bully him or I'm going to shoot over him or whatever. And it's like, yeah, they're not in the NBA and you are, but they're still a professional. They still get trained every day. They still do weight training every day. Like, if you think you're just going to go in there and not actually have to try in order to win these games, you're full of it. You need to run plays. You need to run a motion offense. You need to set screens. Stop trying to go one-on-one. This isn't like you're not at Rucker Park. Like you're actually playing an organized game. Try.
I agree. It's embarrassing. They had 21 assists and we had 19. And they look like they moved the ball much better than 21 assists.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these guys are just like crossing up, putting their shoulder in and trying to drive. And, you know, I don't know, man. It doesn't have that feel anymore, you know?
I think, dude, I really want to talk about like the importance to circle back to the Trae Young thing before, the importance of having a point guard that actually gets dudes in the right position, like calls plays out, like is the coach on the court. Every Knick fan that wants Damian Lillard, like Dame is a great shooter, awesome shooter, one of the best of all time. He's clutch. He's a great leader. He doesn't actually like help his team get in the right position to run plays.
Yeah.
And it's why would you want that?
He's a two guard, man.
He's a short two guard. I mean, he has the ball in his hand most of the time, so that's why he's a point guard. He's going to be listed as everything as a point guard.
Yep.
But he doesn't average fucking 9 assists ever. It's never gone over 7.
Is Chris Paul's contract a player option this coming year?
Yeah, he's technically a free agent.
If you are Chris Paul, I was thinking about this. Call me crazy. If you're Chris Paul and you're able to win a chip this year with the Suns, do you?
Damian Lillard, by the way, the past 2 years has gotten 8 and 7.5 assists, and that was the first time he was ever over 7. I just want to point that out. And yes, he's trying a little bit more to do it in the second half of his career, the later half, because as you get into your mid to late 30s, you want to be more pass first, not have the burden.
You can.
I think he should have practiced getting 8 assists fucking 10 years ago, personally.
But that's why I love Trae Young. You know, is because
he does try to get 10 assists.
Because this guy, this guy had 9.4 assists this season, and it's year 3.
He's 21 or 22. He's not 31, 32 trying to do it.
And this, 9.4 this year, 9.3 last year, 8.1 his rookie season. So this guy came out of the gate looking to be a point guard.
Yeah.
You know, but what I was saying about Chris Paul, if Chris Paul wins a chip, would it be crazy for him to opt out and then sign with Milwaukee? And then give, because like to me, Milwaukee's going to go back with you. Like you have a generational talent in Giannis. Like, why not sign with Milwaukee and then just go back to the finals and you could probably win back to back with those two guys on the court together.
Do you think? I don't think Chris Paul has the whole Kevin Durant. I'm going to go to the team that beat me in him, or I'm not going to go to the team I beat in him. I think if Chris Paul
Okay.
wins, he stays in Phoenix. Also, Chris Paul's family lives in like LA or San Diego. The
Yeah.
reason why he went to the West Coast is because he wanted to be within driving or like a short flight distance.
For sure. He's a very
I don't think he would ever
family-oriented guy.
move. Yeah. Also, he
I
does all the
just
State Farm commercials still. I don't think he would move away.
Well, I just think to myself, like, he really hasn't had much option of where he's gone the past couple of years.
Dude, he's literally just gone to whoever pays him the most. He's like the president
Well,
of the Players Association.
well,
He's
he
just
got
like, who's giving
traded.
me 40 mil?
So wait, I'm trying to remember his trip real quick as far as like where
He
he's
got
gone.
traded to OKC,
So,
but he
right.
chose to sign with Phoenix.
Well, no, he's signed with
He was a free agent this past year.
well, when he went to Houston, was he traded or did he sign with Houston?
I think he signed with Houston. He got
traded to
from
OKC.
so he got traded from New Orleans to the Clippers when
Yep.
he tried to go to the Lakers and David Stern literally X'd that
Turned
shit
it
out.
down. Yeah,
Then he just
ruined
went
Kobe's
to the Clippers
ring.
instead.
Yep.
From the Clippers, I'm pretty sure he wanted to go to Houston. I forgot if it was a trade or a free agency thing, but he wanted to try to win a title with Harden. Found out that the two of them didn't mesh.
Right.
Got traded to OKC, and then he signed with Phoenix.
Okay.
So he's chosen
Okay.
half of the places he's been.
Okay. I don't know. I just kind of think like, you can throw an older Chris Paul with prime Giannis, and I mean, that's a chip, man. To me, I just think like if you can win a chip with Phoenix, because I don't know if he can go back to back with Phoenix. I don't know if like another year of Giannis like learning the league.
Well, I also think LeBron and AD are gonna have a strong thing to say about that next year, and then they're not gonna take the whole let's get the 7th seed and not take the thing seriously.
I don't know about LeBron like that.
I'm not gonna doubt LeBron James until LeBron James is out of the league.
No, for sure. You don't want to. He's like the Tom Brady of the NBA. You don't want to bet against him.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know. I just think like you pair Giannis with Chris Paul and you put the league on notice. Like that is especially like in the East. I mean, who are you? I guess
Brooklyn.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I guess Brooklyn, but like I don't know, man. Like let's see how long that can work. You have KD, who's a head case. You got Kyrie, who thinks the world's flat. You got
James Harden eating double cheeseburgers and then going to see strippers.
You have the Christian Bale of the NBA and James Harden who can change his body type like within the blink of there you go. You're welcome. You could change your body type like whenever you want. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a big I was happy that the Knicks didn't get Kyrie or KD just because the head case stuff, man, the social media stuff. I don't know. Well, I mean, for sure, Brooklyn is obviously probably going to be
back to your original question.
Win.
I'm going to turn it back on you. How much allure do you think Team USA has now to like other countries and shit?
I think that the world's getting better in basketball. I think basketball is the easiest sport to just go out and play. All you need is a hoop, where for most places there are hoops everywhere. I think you need a basketball, and you could play barefooted if you needed. So
I mean, basketball, soccer. I would say football and rugby are also easy to play. It's baseball and hockey that you need.
I think football is hard to play. You need more than. I mean, you can only play catch with two people, but like you can go to a court and go play games.
That's true. Soccer and basketball, you literally can play one-on-one.
Yep. Baseball, you need at least
5 fucking people.
5 to 7 people. Football is hard to play. Hockey, you can't play by yourself. So basketball is very accessible. I think that just. But that's what brought me to the question of like, did the NBA superstar lose its luster? Because, guys like Jason Tatum and like Bam Adebayo, Bradley Beal, Draymond Green, like these guys.
Think of all these dudes that have titles on their. Kevin Durant has NBA rings. Draymond Green NBA rings.
Yeah, but
Kevin Love
does
NBA
Draymond
rings.
Green? Yeah, but does Draymond Green have NBA rings if it isn't for Kevin Durant, Steph Curry?
No, I mean he's like the 4th best player.
Who was
the third or fourth best player?
Guy said Kevin Love. Like, does Kevin Love have a ring?
Love and Green were both the 3rd best players on teams that won rings. Kevin Durant was the best player on a team that won a ring.
Agreed.
But
but that's about it. But then when you look at like Team USA, the last one, D Wade, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, like those guys were all champions. Like the guy at some point on a championship team. You look at the dream team, like Bird, obviously the older Bird, Magic, Michael Jordan, like
Jordan, Pippen.
right, like
Yeah.
those teams were.
And the one time, remember when Jordan and Pippen went against Tony Kukoc before
Kukoc
they
and locked
actually
it right
they
and went.
destroyed that dude.
Yeah, they made
There's
him
no one on this team that has that like wand or like
lockdown
that lock.
ability.
Well, they do. I mean, Draymond Green is a lockdown defender when he wants to. I
Yep.
think Kevin Durant can be a lockdown defender when he wants to. But like they don't have the desire to do it. Like Kevin Durant isn't seeing someone from Croatia being like, "You're coming to the Nets next year. I'm gonna fucking show you on the man." Like he's like, "Oh,
Right.
sick, get a couple shots up, man. Let's see how it goes." Like,
Yeah, let's see how you look.
yeah.
That brings me back to what I was saying. I don't know if that was the Lost podcast or a previous one. I think the NBA is just so much more friendly. Everyone's just looking to get paid. No one's looking to just like kill anybody out there anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I don't think that an old like a Kobe Bryant NBA team is not gonna lose to Nigeria.
Yeah, no shot.
A Michael Jordan USA team is not losing to Nigeria.
The 28.5 spread is because of our past, not because of our current.
Right. No, for sure. It is because of our past and just because of like what we've been able to do in the Olympics. I think like out of like 18 Olympic competitions, we've placed 15 times, I think was something that I saw. So, I mean,
which honestly seems low somehow. The fact that we didn't place 3 times is even crazy.
I know, especially when we're considered like the pinnacle of basketball.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you that, you know, underestimating a team, you know, I don't see this happening again. I don't really see. It's a good like chin check for Team USA because I don't think that they're going to be losing much after this game, and I don't think Pop's going to let that happen again. But like a Jeff Van Gundy USA team is not losing to this team. You know, I don't know, man. It's just it was disappointing to see. I always get myself excited for
dudes
USA
were built
basketball.
different in the 90s, man. Dudes were just built different.
I was excited for it, and it just like I was like, all right, game 1, we're gonna just, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I don't care about plus minus too much. I know it's like mostly a BS stat, but
yeah,
I just want to point out the 3 dudes that have double-digit negative plus minuses in this game: Kevin Durant, Bam Adebayo, and Damian Lillard.
Dame Lillard. Yep.
I'm gonna use that to segue into our New York Knickerbockers.
Okay.
So obviously, I think we're thankfully getting past the Dame Lillard saga a little bit. Like it's dying down finally after the past few weeks. And I said it on Danny's podcast. It's funny after all this time, like just to really look back and realize that Damian Lillard kind of did it to himself. That the 2 dudes that he chose as his like 2 favorite dudes, like one's Jason Kidd, who has domestic abuse charges against him in the past, and the other one's Chauncey Billups.
Also likes to spill water on the court for an extra timeout.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of
savvy.
That's like some Bill Belichick shit. I'm
that's
actually
savvy.
Yeah. And then Chauncey Billups, who actually had rape charges against him from 25 years ago. It's like do some research before you say you want a guy on your team if you know social media is a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that that's kind of over finally after all this time.
Yeah.
I'm like sad that because Quickly got the COVID protocol against him, I feel like he could have been on this team. Like I'm staring at Sadiq Bey's name on this and John Jenkins.
Yep.
And I'm just like, IQ could have definitely got some points.
Yeah, Emmanuel Quickly looks a lot better there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I mean, what's funny is that Josh Maggette, Dakota Mathias, and Cameron Reynolds don't even play in the NBA. They actually play overseas, and they're American players that we brought for the international game. And the 3 of them aren't going to get a single minute this whole time.
So Ken, I mean, all right. So even he's in protocol. I know that. If he wasn't in protocol, do they have the ability to like swap him in, or is it like a set roster?
No, for the select team, they chose 3 new dudes to replace the 3 guys that were out.
Okay.
And then during this time, the reason why Sadiq Bey and John Jenkins are even up on the actual team is because those spots are still reserved for Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker.
Okay.
So that's why they're even up there in the first place. I did want to actually mention real quick, though. Have you seen any of the Luka Vildoza highlights?
I did not watch any, but I saw the 3-point the deep 3-pointer. I saw that
Half-court.
he had 11 points and like 2 assists in 19 minutes, and they lost
Australia,
Australia.
who has a bunch
Yeah,
of NBA players on their team.
yeah. But I mean, the guy looks like he's got a. I watched some like video on him other than the Olympic game. Guy looks like he has a good shot. He looks very, very confident within
I
his
saw someone
shot.
post online, and I kind of agree with it. He has a very Jeremy Lin-esque release,
I saw that. I saw that quick trigger.
but like a weird, like high arcing, like elbow thing.
Yeah, and I mean he kind of like his body kind of like fades a little bit too. I mean he looks good. I mean this is all hearsay. We got to get this guy on an NBA court and throw some NBA defense at him. I mean, as a Mets fan and as a Jets fan, I kind of take the stance like, yeah, it looks good. Let's see it like get done though before you really start to give him any kind of credit. But I mean, it's exciting to see that we have a guy that can like shoot the 3 ball. That's pretty good, and he
Yeah.
looks like he's a decent distributor. If Pablo Prigioni, the GOAT, signs off on him, I'm all for it because I'm a huge Pablo Prigioni guy.
Also, I love Campazzo on Denver, and him and Campazzo were like rivals and friends
Yeah,
overseas. So I'm all about that too, because Campazzo is a starting NBA point guard now.
yep. I mean, and he's like a point guard, which is
Yeah,
nice. How tall is this guy? He's 6'2".
six
I mean,
five.
is he?
Yeah,
It says 6'2" at the NBA.
is he
On
that short? I thought he was way taller than that.
Yeah, no, I think he's 6'2", and he's 25. I mean,
He could have been drafted. I think he declared 3 or 4 years ago and went undrafted and just stayed overseas. Basketball Reference says 6'3", 190.
okay, I'm on Google, but I mean, regardless, 6'2", 6'3", same.
Decent size, like Steph Curry-esque.
It's a very decent size for a point guard, and he's good to as long as he's looking to facilitate and he keeps the confidence that he plays with, because that's the one thing I took from him. Just watching his clips, I saw Danny B posted something on Twitter about it. His confidence is very important. It's very, very important to play at the NBA level and maintain that level of confidence. So, I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see if we got another point guard in the works, somebody that actually is like looking to pass too. So that's cool.
What do you think is more important for dudes from overseas, or just new players in general, to get summer league reps, or like Olympics or NBA like FIBA championship reps?
Any rep. I think obviously you want to play against top tier talent. So like G League stuff to me is probably the lower of all that. And then FIBA, and then I mean, like, I like watching just like street ball guys go and play, like NBA guys, and you just go have a run, and there's like somebody's recording it on the side with their phone. Like that stuff to me is like more important. I mean, probably not though, because like guys don't want to get hurt, but I think G League's probably the lowest. I think you want to play against like NBA talent, so maybe FIBA, I guess.
Word. Yeah, no, I think FIBA's a little better than summer league, honestly.
For sure. I mean, summer league is just, you kind of look, look at Kevin Knox, that summer league that he had. It looked like this guy was like the second coming of Giannis. He just was like running rampant. Everything, he couldn't be stopped. But then, you throw him on the NBA floor, and then he looks like a fawn.
Yeah, I mean, a monster. Literally just a tall, lanky, strong ass dude.
He doesn't look like he put any weight on either. I saw a video of him working out, and he looked still kind of lanky. I mean,
Oh, dude, I disagree. If you actually see there's a picture that was going around Twitter last night during the game. There's a picture of him as a rookie versus now, and it's like he doesn't look that much bigger, but just
Yeah,
understanding how long his limbs are, it's like that dude could
right.
probably lift like 60 more pounds on each arm.
Okay. I saw a picture of KP too, and he looked brolic in it, but everybody was roasting this man.
Until KP can play even 70 games in the season, it's going to be really hard.
I agree. No, I agree. It's a shame. It's a shame, man. I love that guy when we got him. Talking about just like watching talent and like scouting
Yeah.
to see what guys were doing. I remember watching him the night we drafted, and I was like, he's gonna fall to Phil Jackson, and he's the perfect kind of player for Phil Jackson, and I was super excited about it. And then for a little bit, we had a glimpse of like what was the future, and then the whole fiasco happened. But I don't mean to reminisce. I just it was just a very like hopeful time. You
Would
remember
you
if, like
take
with the
KP
next,
back on this team? And if so, what would the
yeah.
price be?
Uh, I mean, you're not getting max. I would of course take KP back on this team. Um, I mean, you put him. I just don't know. Like, what do you think we need? Do you think we need somebody to stretch the floor at that position, or do you think we need somebody that can?
I don't think there's anything wrong with having a stretch five play
I mean, but
15,
just like
20 minutes a game.
look at like I know that the NBA is like more geared towards 3-point shooting, but like not everybody has the two best shooters
The
in the
part
league.
that the part that KP started losing way more so than his offensive ability from those injuries is his ability to protect the rim, which I
Yeah,
think is what's really hindered Dallas a lot because when they got him, he was still a dude that was averaging almost 2 blocks a game
right,
and like actually being a deterrent at 7'3".
right.
And now it's like he's just so slow. He just can't actually get to the spots he's supposed to be. He's
What I
just
was
not
saying,
nearly as good as help defense.
what I was saying was like, you look at the two teams that are playing right now. Like, you got Giannis who drives and either finishes or dishes, or you have somebody that penetrates and then dishes. So everything is still kind of like inside out based, and unless you're the Golden State Warriors who had the two best shooters at the time, and then potentially like the three best shooters in the NBA when they had KD, like aren't you still kind of trying to clog the middle and then find shooters? So like, does a stretch power forward really like help your team? If you look at how Julius was running the offense and when everything was really clicking, it was either he was just like unconscious from 3-point line, or he was at the elbow or a little bit deeper onto the block,
Well,
drawing
think of it this
attention and
way:
then making the right play, and we were
if
hitting three
KP
pointers.
was like the five in this fake instance and he was at the 3 point line, doesn't that allow Julius to go inside out still?
Yeah, but
Whoever's
like,
covering,
do you want your tallest player to not be? What I'm basically saying is like, do you want maybe on like the second team? I'm good with stretching the floor with a big, but like I kind of feel like your starting lineup's got to be able to clog the middle, knock down threes, and just that's kind of the formula that's always worked in the NBA is playing inside out. It always like you'll have the niche teams where they shoot unconsciously from 3-point line. They're running flex offenses like
you mean
above the
like the home
3-point line.
team in the NBA Finals?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna have KP back, I don't know if I want him to start. Um, but I would definitely take a Kristaps Porzingis back. Like that's you just kind of gotta realize like who you
I think
got, what your
KP's injury
abilities are.
history and his ability at this point, he should play 20 to 25 minutes a game. I don't think
Oh,
he
well,
manages
that's
to
what I'm
start
saying.
right now. Yeah.
He's gonna be most effective not playing big minutes.
Yeah.
And then with that comes the contract
Even
that
for his own
he
health.
deserves. Yeah. I mean, I don't if I was him, I mean, obviously, like you want to think you're the guy, and that's the kind of mentality that gets you to the NBA. But I mean, I don't know if health wise he has the ability to do that anymore, you know?
The last thing I want to touch on is I guess the new rumor of the week, we'll say the new Knicks for clicks is
The,
Collin Sexton.
yeah, I saw that.
And I am against Collin Sexton. I've said this before. I will reiterate why I'm against Collin
No
Sexton.
Sexton in the champagne room.
No Sexley going on in a backcourt. No Rose tin. No,
Okay.
none of that shit. How would you feel? And what would you be willing to give up for him if you were to get Collin Sexton?
So
Also, this
it's
dude is probably going to be looking for a max or near max in the next year.
yeah. So he was taking the 8th pick in 2018.
That's what you're looking at.
22. I mean, it just comes to
It's funny to read what Vin writes like as.
Yeah, he is just going off.
Yeah, he's literally like, what about this? What about that? What about
Yeah.
this? Hey, look over here. Look over
Yeah,
here.
look here. Be distracted. I think that it kind of goes back to like what you were saying about the point guard position and like
Getting your
the
team
skill
set up.
drop off. I mean, like, are you willing to give anything up for a guy that is probably gonna be run of the mill? Like, do you think this guy has all-star potential?
I mean, I think he has Bradley Beal potential where he scores the ball a lot and makes a couple all-star teams, but doesn't actually lead a team to winning.
So then I'm out.
My problem with Sexton is that so the one trade I saw online that's been going around, which would actually be a great price because this dude is skillful and he has like a ceiling that would be pretty much higher than the other dude trade for. It was
Mhm.
Obi. It was Obi in the 32nd pick.
I mean, if
Which
that's all we have to give to get him, I'm good
yeah,
with
that'd
that.
be awesome. But I mean, why the
I,
fuck would Cleveland do that?
yeah, I don't think Cleveland would go for that.
No shot. And then my issue actually with Sexton as a player, and I've said this over and over again, like when you are like the other teams that they were playing would make fun of his teammates, telling them he wasn't passing them the ball when
Right.
he had the ball.
Right.
And like this dude who has the ball in his hands a lot, next to Garland, who actually is more of a legitimate point guard,
Point guard.
like one takes the ball out of Garland's hands a lot, and then two, he averages like less than 4 assists a game as a dude that's supposed to be maybe a point guard in
Yeah,
some
he did.
sense.
He did 4.4 assists this season, and before that, he averaged 3 for his first 2 seasons.
I mean,
3
at
on the
that,
dot.
like, why? Like, I
I'm good
think
on that.
I'm good on not having that on my team. At
I'm
that point, I'd rather
absolutely
just
good on that.
I'd rather let IQ and whatever point guard we draft this year try to figure it out.
I agree. I agree. I think Emmanuel quickly. Just think he kind of opens everything up for you. Give this guy an opportunity to run an offense because the guy can shoot, and he's going to be able to, and he can shoot from deep. So give him the opportunity to start maneuvering and manipulating defenses. Give an opportunity to take the reins a little bit, see what you got. I don't know why you would knee jerk and go get somebody that averages, 4 assists a game when you brought in a guy like IQ who wasn't playing starter minutes and averaged 2 assists.
I agree.
I
Literally,
mean,
I mean, I know we didn't have IQ a lot of minutes, but his 36 numbers were awesome.
yeah, his 36, yes. I mean, he averages he in 36 minutes per he almost is at 4 a game, 3.7. He scores 21 points. I mean, the guy, he's almost at a steal at a game. I don't know. I kind of just think that if you're going to go make a move, probably bring in a guy that is more established at the point guard position because you want somebody to come in and teach your young guys, not just bring in somebody that's a peer to somebody you just drafted. And I mean, if you're going to step on somebody's progression like quickly, and you're going to take minutes away from him, make sure that it's a guy that's actually going to benefit him in other aspects of his game and teach him things and show him how to run an offense. And, bringing in Sexton isn't going to benefit your draft pick.
Agreed.
Like if I was a GM, my focus is the people that I'm literally handpicking for my team.
And
That's why
it's about fit. It's about putting dudes together that would actually make sense on the court.
yeah. Well, you look at like everyone's like, oh, Chris Paul, and like Chris Paul is would be a very good option. Yeah, he's aging, but like the guy is a basketball savant. So didn't DeAndre Ayton say like the greatest thing to ever happen to him was to play with Chris Paul?
Yes,
because of like his ability to just like pick his brain and like stuff like that is so important, man.
Chris Paul, the player, is probably the best coach that most players he's ever played with had.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and Chris Paul's probably going to be a coach at some point.
If he
Like
wants,
most,
I mean, either that
like
or an
most,
actor.
yeah. I hope not. Not an actor, please, for the love of God. You
Dude,
know
those
how I
State
feel
Farm
about
commercials are
those.
funny, man. I told you.
They're not funny.
Dude,
Not a fan.
whatever. Agree to disagree. Real quick, I'm gonna read off a couple potential draft picks. I'm just gonna only do point guards though.
Okay.
Tell me if anyone tickles your fancy or not.
Hold on. Let me. All right, good. Just go at it. Even though
Uh,
I don't know much, I don't really follow college ball too much. So
well, I mean, we have to get into it soon because the draft's coming up anyway. So
yeah, let's
I'll
get
just say a
into
couple
it.
names that are point guard, shooting guard. Moses Moody, Keon Johnson, Jared Butler, Miles McBride, Sharif Cooper, Jaden Springer. Anyone that you've heard of or done not done research, but anyone that's just passed your Twitter timeline or anything that gives you a tickle?
I'm gonna say no, not really.
All right.
I just don't I've always kind of felt like, and I don't know, I know this isn't going to go over well for a lot of college ball fans, but like I've always been the kind of guy where it was like, I'll know about these guys when I need to know about them. Like once they're drafted and once I see them established on the team and I see the kind of minutes they're getting, once I know who they are, it will be when they're playing on a big stage. And
I
that's
think
kind of
the
always how I felt
NBA
about
more
college.
than most other sports has like the craziest amount of busts, and I honestly
Yeah.
think like
Yes.
draft talk in the NBA as a whole is like such a crapshoot. Like Johnny Flynn and Steph Curry were drafted next to each other.
Right.
Sam Bowie and Michael Jordan. Like it's just like you can have the 4th overall pick and fuck up. You can have the
Right.
30th overall pick. You can have the 41st pick and get Nikola Jokic. Like who the hell knows, you know?
Right. Right.
But 2 names out of the ones I listed, Moses Moody, I think really does have a chance to be a major lockdown defender, which I'm totally a fan of. And
Okay.
he's almost like if Frank Ntilikina actually could shoot the ball.
Could play basketball other than defense.
Yeah, literally. Also play defense and then not foul every time he gets so excited that he's actually out there for the first time in 3 fucking games.
Okay.
And Sharif Cooper, undersized, only 6'1", but might have the best or second best shot in the whole draft.
Okay. So they have your guy Moses Moody going 10th.
There's literally so many different. That's
Yeah,
the thing with the NBA draft. It's like the NFL draft for a league that has way more players in every team and way more positions. Like the top 30, the top 100 for most NFL draft boards looks similar from like 1 to 50 at least. In the NBA, the one I'm looking at right now has James Bouknight 5th overall, as in within the top 5 that has been Cunningham, Green, Mobley, Suggs, and Kamiga. They actually have Bouknight past Kamiga. Another website I looked at 3 days ago had Bouknight 24th. Like,
okay,
how
so
the fuck does that happen?
It's just no consistency.
Yeah, that's why the NBA draft process as a whole really it hurts my brain almost as much as Knicks free agency.
I've been seeing a lot of so a couple of days ago when I was on vacation, I did look at a Bleacher Report mock draft.
Okay.
And I just couldn't think of the guy's name like right off the top, so I just pulled it up. And I've been seeing Tre Mann is one of the names that I've been seeing at the 21st pick.
Yep.
From Florida. And like I don't know, his numbers don't like really blow you away. He's he's a good size, 6'5", $190. But in 24 games, he had 16 points.
I almost don't even try to
rebounds.
look at stats like on college, unless it's like someone that literally like Cade Cunningham was averaging like fucking 28 and 6, and he's been projected to be number 1 for years now.
Yeah.
Or Evan Mobley literally like dominated defensively, and that's why he's projected to go 2nd or 3rd overall.
Yeah.
But like Tre Mann put up 19 points. I'm looking at it now. He put up 19 points against Army, 17 against Boston College. This is earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Like he's had between 17 to 21 most games.
I mean, he's looking like he could score the basket.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. But then again, like we're talking about what we want in a point guard, and I've seen him surpass.
There's a shit ton of days where he had 3 assists out of.
I was gonna say I've seen him surpass 6 assists once.
Yeah.
And I've seen him get 6 assists probably 3
Good
times.
rebounder for his size though.
Yeah, I mean 6'5", he's my height. So I mean you gotta at that point you kind of gotta rebound the ball. But I also worry about like taller guards. If you're not, I kind of feel like the taller you are, the more you're expected to score. Who was that tall guard that came out? What was it? Michael Carter Williams. Like years ago, like everybody was like, "Oh man, this guy, he's a triple double waiting to happen," and then he was a bust.
Michael Carter Williams, the original Ben Simmons.
Yeah, exactly. It was Ben Simmons before Ben Simmons.
Yeah, same props.
I mean, like, unless you start to like take the Sean Livingston approach, where you just absolutely master the post game, because that's what set Sean Livingston aside from like at that guard position and that height. Unless you start to take advantage of smaller guards, I don't really like. I'd rather have somebody that's in the 6 foot range with more explosive, first step and a better view of the court than somebody who's 6'5", a little more lanky, and you're expecting other things out of him like defense and I don't know, like scoring.
I like this. We should just bring up a random ass dude to actually deep dive at the end of the podcast. We're gonna do.
You like
Tre
the
Mann
Michael
right
Carter?
now.
You like the Michael Carter Williams?
Well, no, I meant we're just gonna do the Tre Mann right now. But yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. You like the Tre Mann deep dive?
Yeah, you just bring up a random name. I just look it up. Be like, dude, this dude's his turnover rate the past 2 years was 19.6 and 21.9%. That doesn't sound point guard-esque to me.
Yeah, I'm good. Like I'm good, man.
I'm good on that.
For sure. I'm absolutely good on that. I mean, you kind of got to like, obviously, apparently, I'm going to guess that this draft isn't going to like blow the socks off of anyone.
If you're not going in the top 5, then I mean, it's literally even for Kamiga, it's kind of a crapshoot. But if you're not going in the top 5, literally, it's like, who knows?
Ooh, look at that new. I didn't know that the Kings have a new logo. Is that the Kings? It's a cool little logo. I like that.
It was made by Vin.
It was it?
Yeah, your brother made it actually.
Wow.
He's sitting on a gold mine that he's not.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I know. I'm not surprised. Vin, let me $50, you cheapskate.
And on that, I think it's a good time to wrap up. Frank, you want to talk about anything else, or?
Yeah, I got this. I got this for you.
He drew me another thing. Point guards matter. That they do. You should write. You should write passing point guards matter.
Yeah.
And with that, we're done with the Big Knick Energy podcast. Once again, check out our sponsor, Empire Original Designs at jointheempire.com. The East Coast #1 challenge coin manufacturer, the home of challenge coins, lapels, pins, patches, keychains, bottle openers, and more. Mention our podcast, Big Knick Energy, via email for 5% off purchases. Once again, that's jointheempire.com. I was Joe Yolk. Eating honey helps out a lot for your sore throat.
I told you.
That was Trey Deuce. I'm Batman. Peace.
Peace. Shout out to my sunglasses.
Hey, look at these rings.